Here. Now we are. Thank you, Jamie. I have a new Harmony, I have a Gallagher, and I have a McSpadden. And I used to vend for others. And honestly, if you know me, if you go to my recommended products page, I could have a whole bunch of stuff up there. The only thing I put up there is stuff that I back. When I worked at a music store, I might have told you this, but if somebody came in and we carried a certain brand of banjos, and we had an entry level and then we had a very expensive level, and anybody who would come in the middle range, I'd actually talk them out of it, and they would either go down or up. But the reason I did it is because I want to be honest with people. All right. And I really do think McSpadden is one of the best out there. They are by far, I've got other ones, but they're by far the easiest to play. And they always back up their products. Any issue I've ever had, they've always taken care of it. No questions asked, very helpful. So I want to introduce Tim, and I'm going to let him just go from here. And does everybody sit? Tim, could you wave at us? If you look where it says Terry's iPhone, that's Tim. All right. So I want to welcome Tim. And if you have any questions, just I'll let him handle that, but I would assume you could just hit the space bar. Okay, go for it, Tim.
Well, hello. I don't have a lot of things that I know what's going to happen here, because we're going to kind of shoot from the cuff. My wife Terry is filming or doing the following me with her camera phone, because I don't know this kind of technology, but I'm really happy. She says she's in this with me, but she takes no responsibility. So all the responsibilities are up to me along with that. So I've been here at the dulcimer shop for just over 2 years now, and very happy with the change in my life. This is a really fun adventure. And after farming for 59 years, coming down here is a real treat. It's kind of a dream come true. I've played dulcimer for just around 40 years now, but McSpadden for about 35 years. Oh, hold on, I still play my old scroll head that I got back in 1987, and or 86 or 87, and it's still doing real well. It's worn. Okay. Terry says it's a little worn, but then again, so am I. So we fit each other pretty well. I'm a DAA player, to be honest with you. We'll play a little DAA stuff in a little while when we start demonstrating some instruments and things like that. Let's see. Do we need to start off with anything? How do I want to say? Any questions of things that we want to for sure cover today while we're highlighting our instruments and our store?
Well, just this is Art Milhauer. I'd like you to talk about the vibrating string length, and particularly Richard Ash, one of your noble competitors, recently gave a little talk, and he thought the 24-inch was almost as good as 27, and easier to play. So I wonder if you can think about that and talk about that idea.
Okay, sure. Vibrating string length is a big issue. The standard on a McSpadden has been for years from the beginning 28.5 inches. It's a good vibrating string length. I don't want to say it's as good as, I think it's the best. It's a nice length that incorporates the bass really well, because when you play a bass on this, you need, I think there's some kind of physics with it that needs the string to go back and forth so many times to make a pure good tone. So the 28.5 inch works really well in that same for that purpose. The downside is yes, for making some of the more complex chords, it may be a little harder for some hands. So what we've done is since we're on that subject, I'll have Terry follow me in here. We have some, in the meantime, during the Jim Woods era, he moved in a 26-inch vibrating string length. This happens to be one that we have here. It is exactly the same size instrument, and there's no compromise in sound from the 28.5 to 26-inch. You can see that the body's the same size. There is a little bit of the difference is made up in this part of the fretboard. We have a little to identify it. We have a little different. We use the ginger peg head on it as compared to the more straight one on the 28.5. It also makes a very good thing. You will notice on some of these that on the 26-inch vibrating string length, we put the bridge in at a little bit of an angle that helps the intonation situation of it. So we have two vibrating string lengths in our standard size instruments, 28.5 and 26-inch. Now, that said, why don't we offer more different vibrating string lengths? It's the fact that we still do it the old-fashioned way. We have a jig which tells us where to cut each fret in. Now, if we used something like a CNC machine, what a lot of new people are doing, they could program it in and just cut a line everywhere where it's at, and you could make any kind of a vibrating string length that you wanted. I believe that's the way you can do that. We don't use that. We still use the old jigs from the McSpadden era that we cut them in by hand, and each one, there's still a hand-built instrument that doesn't utilize all the newest technology. Well, we use electricity, but all the new technology of CNCs that would allow you to do that. Maybe have to resort to that someday, but as it is now, we still like the idea that we are still a totally hand-built instrument. By human error can creep in on any part of it, although with the guys we've got in the back, human error is pretty rare for the fact that they are very skilled in what we all do back there. So we have the 28.5 inch, the 26, which makes a very nice dulcimer still. And then we drop down to the 23 and 5/16, which is our ginger model. Let's come out here and look at a ginger model. If my lovely assistant would follow me, we'll go out to our, let's see. This one here is a typical 23 and 5/16. That's our ginger. Now it plays best up in the key of G. To go to 24-inch, when we bring these down to the key of D, the strings are not as vibrantly good as they are making a longer string. But though I would not compromise the sound for putting our gingers down into the key of D. They are very, I would say, percentage-wise to our full-size instruments, which play with a longer string length, they're probably at 95% of the sound. But I think if you want to go with the key of D, you're much better off if you really want to get the good sound with the longer vibrating string length. But when you want to play up in the key of G, these just pop. I think this is a really pretty one. We got some really pretty wood grain in this ginger. The walnut is really cool. We also, that brings me to another point that we've done, utilizing, and I'll bring this up again and again, utilizing the tradition that the McSpaddens started. We like to keep everything looking and in with their tradition of the instrument. So, but we did incorporate in our ginger, we did incorporate a in this last year a scroll head, which keeps the scroll head look of the McSpadden along with the ginger look that Lynn and Larry designed years ago. So this is a nice, kind of a nice looking dulcimer with a sycamore top on it. I call our sycamore top our exotic wood because you never know exactly what you're going to get with sycamore. Well, obviously after you cut it, you know what you get, but we have a lot of different looks with our sycamore. And this is Dwayne Jolly picked out a nice light fretboard in cherry with this, that it makes a kind of a unique looking, stunning instrument with that along in there. So anyway, back to the question. Any string length is really good. Our tradition is from the 28.5, which is tried and true and very popular for years and years since 1962. To the gingers that I'm not sure when they made that. I think in the 90s or something like that, they came up with the ginger. And within the last 20 years, came up with the 26-inch, which is a little more comfortable. It's a good compromise to the sound without losing any of it. If you want to go on down to 24-inch, might as well go down to 23 and 5/16. We've pretty much got that covered. We have 95% of the sound, I think, of our full-size instruments. So it's very good. So did I story around enough, making all kinds of remarks with that? Did that answer anything, or do you want me to go any further into that topic?
I'm happy.
Tim,
Did you fall asleep during that?
Tim, on the gingers, if it's tuned to D, is it an octave higher than a regular dulcimer?
No, they're when we tune them, they're typically in the key of G, which is higher than D, but we can tune them down to the key of D, and they are exactly the same as a typical dulcimer would be. They're in that the D below middle C and the D above middle C, and then the A that would be wherever that hits within the middle C.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that, yeah, like I say, that's a very good way to do it. I think if a person doesn't need them in D, if you compromise up to like an E, boy, then you've got the best of all worlds. You've got a really tight sounding instrument that doesn't sound well. I wouldn't want to go down to C anyway, but the D is very good sounding. A lot of people will play them as their main instrument in the key of D, but I like them in that higher thing personally. That's a personal preference. Yeah. So anyway, that's vibrating string lengths. We offer 3: 28.5, 26, and 23 and 5/16.
See it, and I can hear yours.
Could I ask a question?
Yes.
I see teardrop shapes. I'm Helen. I grew up in Tennessee. So for me, that's what I think of as a traditional. That's the shape I grew up with. Can you talk about traditional versus hourglass?
I suppose tradition is how far do you want to go back? There again, or what part of the country have you come from? Like you say, Tennessee probably has a different tradition than Pennsylvania, where I've been told that's probably more so the traditional place. You have they call Tennessee music boxes, which are square. Just how advanced was the woodworker, or how much time did they have to put into one of these? I'll go with either one. Our teardrop that we offer is an excellent sounding instrument. It seems to have a little more bass response, which is, some people love that. It's also a good instrument for if you play them a little more tilted or good guitar type style. They allow you to, well, let's see. I'll pull this down. I'll have they allow you to play them a little more instead of flat on your lap. They give you this option to tilt them a little bit better. They aren't as good for putting on your knee because they tip a little easier, but not once you really get it into a good place in your knee where you're going. And sometimes use a safety belt behind you or whatever that's called. Anyway, the strap behind you. So they offer a lot of variants. You can also, there are some oddballs. I don't mean to call them oddballs. There are some people who will play, guitar style. Is that wrong? Is that right? It allows you to reach it without that bump in here. What's right? What's wrong for you? That's the beauty of what I love with a dulcimer. Is it what's right and wrong for everybody is perfect for that individual. That's why we offer. I guess that's why the McSpaddens made them both in the Teardrop and the hourglass. I'm going with their tradition, what they set up with their instruments. A little more bass response, I feel. The Teardrop, the hourglass might be a little more balanced sound, but excellence in this. Probably without using a pick here, maybe that was a little light sounding. But this is a nice walnut with a sycamore top. Again, this is a rather plain sycamore top. It's quarter sawn. It's got when you get right up to it, it's got a really nice check type grain in it. But there's the tradition. Yeah, I think traditional Teardrop may have been more traditional than hourglass simply because it's a simpler bend in the instrument itself. Is that right or wrong? We like making Teardrops too, and we think they're a great instrument.
What's the VSL on the Teardrops?
You can have either a 28.5 or a 26 on a Teardrop.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So there's what we talked about. Would you all like to see our walk around our gift shop that we have here? Anybody? We'll just kind of walk around and show some of the odds and ends that we have here. This is this is our gazebo where we hang the dulcimers that are for instant for instant sale, but we always say we have some in the back. We'd love to show you. So when somebody picks one out, we give them as many as we have in that style and model and wood type that they can choose from. We are in the middle of remodeling this gazebo. My wife Terry's bought some new paint for this, and we're gonna make it a little bit. Just update it a little bit. It always needs. Let's see, through the gift shop.
Wind chimes.
We have. Let's see. Let's walk through. We have some local pottery that from a local the Munns are really good at making their pottery. We have T-shirts. We have these cool spoons. They're made up in Canada, but they're pretty cool. Our T-shirt selection. We have our nice denim shirts. As you can see, I got to wear mine today. Terry dressed me. We have other instruments. We have the auto harps. We make the Evel harp auto harp. Actually, Jim Woods, the previous owner, is the one who makes the auto harps. He kept on making those. I started learning how, and then I said, you know what? I'm swamped with making dulcimers. I don't need anything else to do. So, but he continues to make the auto harps for us. We do have the Masterworks bowed psalteries that we have in the store. They're kind of cool instrument. That's from the Masterworks. Oh, up at the top is a collection that the McSpaddens put together of different instruments that are from different countries that are quite a bit like dulcimers. There's a few in here that we made. Here's the David Schnaufer model. This was one of the last ones of those. This was number 50,000, I think. Lots of other shapes and creative people in other countries. And this is an older model with the still the wood tuning pegs. We sell Masterworks hammered dulcimers, which are of a nice quality. And we also have our David's dulcimers. They're yeah. They're a nice dulcimer. In here, we're gonna come back in here and turn on the light in there so you can see what you look at when you get here. We have splatterware. We have leftover wood, which is pretty cool. One of our biggest things in here is you can come. We have lots of wind chimes. They're made in the USA. Lots of jams and jellies that are local here to the Ozark area. We have sticks and canes. We're down on this right now. The gentleman's going to bring them back in. Some of them are nicely carved on the top. We got a neat selection. So when you come to the dulcimer shop, there's lots of other things to look at. We have locally made brooms and situations like that. Anyway, that's our gift shop, as you can see, about 2,000 square feet.
Books.
We have oh goodness, book selection, and we have lots. Get them from your local supplier or from us. It doesn't matter. We have this is the back wall, and then here's the front wall.
Wow.
And you see in the top, the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Asking Tara if she's filming right. She's good. No, we don't have all the books, but we have a lot of them. Let's see. How are we doing? Would anybody want to see some of the back rooms, some of the places where we make the dulcimers? Is that interesting?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the back room.
Which way?
Let's go through the door here.
Oh, and birdhouses.
Oh yeah, there's birdhouses. I'm gonna turn on the lights of what you see through here, and then she's gonna follow me as soon as I turn on the lights. But you can see us working during the day. Terry, if you just kind of span back and forth, this is what the people get to see, how much of our shop that we make of our dulcimers. Come around to this side. Just go quick. We'll go back in there.
They get the private tour.
Yeah, we'll get the private tour. I just wanted you to see how much people can see when they come in. Yeah, we look pretty busy in there. There you go. All right. And I would have dusted, but I'm not very good at that. Okay, that's good. Here's some of our staging area where we get orders or just regular run. Where Dwayne Jolly picks out tops, bottoms, and sides, and puts them together so that they're ready to be glued up. We've got 4, 5, 6 glued up, and then he left for the weekend. So that's okay. They'll be ready to go when we're done. We've got them in different stages through here. We have these are being almost ready to spray. We have our run sheets that keep track of the serial number. A serial number is assigned to each dulcimer. Here's some that are ready to be sprayed a second time. And like I say, in various stages. Through here, we have a pretty good look of backs that we have made in the back, ready to go, and various tops so that we can coordinate the wood and some things like that.
The heart.
The hearts have been cut in already with the we don't laser anything. We take them with the overhead router in the back with a jig that cuts the same each time. We have the lazy heart. That's a great thing that McSpadden's came up with, that logo. And we also have the F type hole. Now that's something that we've changed in the last little bit. We said there were a lot of people who said, what if I don't want hearts on my dulcimer? We said, well, yeah, if you get a McSpadden, you get hearts. But we did compromise, and we said on the bottom, if you do want an F hole, that keeps very traditional with the McSpadden look and the McSpadden logos. So we will now, if somebody asks, we will put a F hole in the bottom. We'll keep the hearts at the top and F hole. It makes a very nice looking instrument in itself. Here's a cart that is ready to be trimmed up. Obviously the sides and everything are not trimmed at this point, so we're going to be, that's, I think my job tomorrow is to trim those up. Here's some more of the process. These are backs that are being glued together. We book match every back and top so that they reflect each other. Here's actually, oh no, this is going to be kind of a fun one. This has got, it's going to be a ginger. Put the F holes in there, but up at the top we have the guys made a set of natural sound holes in there, which is going to be pretty fun for somebody one of these days when it gets put together.
Talk about this.
Oh, look at this. This is one of our benders that we oh, they're heavy. We put electricity through this and they heat, and you wet the wood just a little bit and bring it down. And this is for the teardrop shape bender. And you hook it in there and you say, now bend. And after a few minutes, it comes out bent. Got a bunch of clamps. Another rack of sides and tops that are going to be ready to work on. The guys now are very efficient. They are turning out parts like nobody's business. So that's a real plus. Let's go to the back room. Pretty basic stuff. These are going to be turned into fretboards. They used to be a tree, and we cut everything by the wood pile out back. We'll go walk out by our wood pile. Here's our overhead router that we cut our sound holes with. The thing goes around and puts the circles in them. Just just as they did when they first opened up this shop. If you look up in here, this is a collection. This is priceless. If you scan across all these are a lot of the jigs, how to hold the peg heads in there just right and keep them consistent. And these were all made by Larry McSpadden,
He still comes in.
who now has started coming back in. He retired probably 10 years ago, 8-10 years ago, and now he comes back in the evenings. Richard Stoltz, who now has come back in, also calls him our night shift. And he comes in, he's like a little person who comes in at what is it, Keebler Elves or something like that all of a sudden there's projects that are done, and some of these jigs that were starting to wear out, he fixes them and remakes them. He is so cool, and which is really neat. He was with Lynn from the beginning. And that being said, this is our 60th year in McSpadden dulcimers. And we haven't done anything yet because we haven't been creative enough, but we're going to figure out, we're going to make some kind of a special commemorative 60th year dulcimer and probably have it signed by both Larry McSpadden and Richard Stoltz, who were with Lynn. Well, Richard Stoltz has been here since about 1972 or 74, somewhere in that neighborhood. And Larry was with Lynn from the beginning in 1962. But they were with Lynn from the beginning, and they really were very instrumental in making this what it is. Anyway, so we'll have something with them commemorating them because they both have come back to work and be part of the job. And I tell you what, they are a godsend with the knowledge that they know, because there's a lot of aspects to this that are they're just if a person came in here, they could not replicate what they do and the way they make it. Anyway, some of the old machines, this thing here is a rip saw that Richard Stoltz, I get a kick out of. He says, "Yeah, I was the only one that was brave enough to run this thing," and I don't. And he comes back and he's still running.
I think their signal's low. Just hang on.
They're getting pretty deep into the shop.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We may have to come back in again. There he is. Nope, that's not him. Is he still here? Does anybody know?
I think he dropped.
Okay, he'll get back in here. I'm assuming he will. How many are enjoying this though?
No, I think it's great.
I do too.
Yeah, I really enjoy it.
I think it's very interesting.
How many people have a McSpadden?
I have two.
I've got two of the ones I bought this year are both the walnut with the sycamore, and one was quarter sawn and the other was the spalted. And I enjoy both of them. There were 26 and the ginger style on those. And then I have I have a 20-year-old dulcimer, the original string length that my wife bought when we got married for me. And I play like I've just started, but anyway, there. I find McSpadden's very interesting, and the videos that they put on about their history are very interesting too.
They're signing back in, by the way.
And so he's about 4 hours away from me, and I think I'm going to make the trip.
Yeah. I know. I just watching their gift shop made me want to go there.
I play a little bit with the auto part.
Terry's back.
Oops, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Did we lose you? I'm sorry. We went to the back and I think we lost our Wi-Fi. So
We won't
You're
see
good.
it.
where did we drop off? Does anybody remember, or were they sleeping
Or do I
anyway?
care?
Or did they care?
On
Oh.
the big rip saw.
You were talking about the ripsaw.
Oh, the rip.
Okay, so we were talking about the ripsaw, and that Richard said he was the only one brave enough to run that. Okay, then that's his claim to fame. I guess we won't go to the. We're not going to go to the wood pile out back. It's just stacked wood. We get it in from local lumberjacks that are like they cut a bunch of walnut and they say, Tim, you want to buy some walnut? It's kind of like the little pig that was met a man with a load of wood, and we cut it about 2 inches thick, and however wide they've got it, we let it sit out in the drying things in piles
For how long?
for about a year and a half, and then we come in and it gets down to maybe about 8% moisture by that time, and then we bring it in, we cut the parts out of it, and then Richard and Randy stack it up real neatly, and they put it in the kiln and dry it back down to about 6% moisture, where we can work with it and it's at a stable moisture. So it's quite a long process. You know, people come in and say, how long does it take you to make a dulcimer? And I said, well, start to finish about 3 weeks, but honestly, about 2 years by the time we bought the piece of lumber to get it in there, to get it to the right moisture for working with it. So there's that. So that's some of our process that we didn't show you everything of because we lose connection when we go in the back. We apologize for that. We aren't trying to hide most anything. Does anybody have any questions on our how we make dulcimers and things like that?
Tim, this is Jay from Pennsylvania, and I was curious about talking about the moisture content of the wood. Obviously, you guys varnish and seal that wood, and is that more than just an aesthetic type thing, or is that also to keep the moisture from knocking the instrument out of tune?
No, it's very stable. I mean, we don't obviously the inside of the dulcimer is not in any way the inside of the dulcimer is not stained, or I mean not stained. We don't put any stain on. Everything's a natural lacquer on the side, same color as it is to begin with. All the wood. I would say it's more aesthetics and to keep the outside from dust and chipping. But I mean, I don't. Well, you do want to seal in what it is. You know what? I'm gonna really say I don't know. I mean, obviously the inside is not finished and the outside is, so it makes a wipe-offable outside. Of course, it also protects from the outside elements so that the glue joints stay well. You want to watch you've got to watch your extreme conditions of your dry humidity or lots of humidity. I mean, the dry humidity could make the, I don't think it'll dry the wood out anymore, but it will dry the wood glue that's in between all the joints. And if that gets brittle, it may let loose or compromise in that, glue softens, because if we need to repair one, we simply heat it to take it apart. And that's how we loosen the glue. So heat is really dangerous to it, and drying it out to make it brittle. You keep the instrument where you're comfortable, somewhere between 40% humidity and 60-70%, 70 at the highest. Your instrument is also comfortable. You gotta main thing is if it does go into an extreme condition of heat or cold or dry or really wet, allow it to get back to a temperate. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
The comfort zone.
Yeah, to something you're comfortable in. Allow it to do that before you put any playing or stress on the instrument, so that it, doesn't, come apart. I mean, we don't usually see anything that has come apart due to extreme conditions. About the only extreme conditions that we do a lot of repairs on is when somebody backs a pickup over it. Now that will compromise.
That's
the
common.
So yeah, we put a clear lacquer on the instrument, at least a couple coats, maybe up to 4 coats, depending on the situation, and it protects the outside of the instrument well. Was I a politician and didn't answer your question to say?
No, that's a good answer. You blew my mind when you say you could take a hairdryer, heat one up, and take it apart to do some kind of internal repairs if necessary. So that statement alone amazed me.
Right. I mean, people will drop them and crack their top and have their top cracked, and we'll take the top off and put a new top on it. And there's not about the only thing that really ruins the instrument that if you wreck the sidewalls, then everything has to come apart. You might as well start over. But a back we can replace tops. We had Cyndi Lauper's instrument in here not too long ago, just a couple months ago, and she had one that she liked from a long time ago that had a cracked top in her. It was a redwood top, and she'd cracked it, but she didn't want it replaced, so we were able to glue the top and put a little reinforcing on the inside of it and keep it very original. She was very happy when she got it back that we were able to, she had sentimental sentimental ties to that dulcimer, because it was one of the first ones that she had gotten from Lynn way back in the day. So anyway, we can work on a lot of parts of the dulcimer themselves that, don't worry if something breaks. Call us up and we fix it. And it's usually, we try to fix things for very reasonable, because we like people playing our dulcimers, and we like to show that we have some service behind, service by what we sell. So is that a good motto?
Yeah, good. Does McSpadden produce any Galax style, the double back style?
No, we do not do that on our dulcimers. But we do promote. We don't have any right now because plywood went way out of whack in expensiveness, in cost. But we're going to start making. We promote the possum boards that they sit in the back, and that adds a nice. That's a very relatively inexpensive way to get a false Galax back on there that you can use when you need it, and you don't have to have it when you don't need it. Yeah, they're good. I know there's some other makers out there. Tom Irving makes the possum pads that kind of stick on the back of there. That's great if you like that. I'm a little bit. Our possum boards, you don't have to put an adhesive on the back, but I think he uses a very high quality adhesive that you don't that does not mar the back if you want to take them off at some point in time.
Yeah, they use the command Velcro strips, and it doesn't leave marks.
Yes, I think so. So I think they're a very good high quality. I don't know if you'd want to bake them on in the car if that's the situation. That might be another situation, but under normal circumstances, I think that they're a very good product.
Yeah. I did want to ask you, could you go over the different kind of woods and the sounds? Because I know like the redwood is very warm, the spruce is brighter. Can you go over that briefly?
Yes. We do mainly our the backs are mainly locally cut walnut and cherry. your choice of that. We can make other backs and tops, but those are a very good, hard, solid wood that gives a very good structure with the instrument. The other typical tops that we make are, obviously, we put the walnut on, we put the cherry on. Walnut's a warmer sound, a cherry's a brighter sound. You put a spruce top on all of them. It seems that makes a clarifying tone between either one of them. It brings the bright cherry down to a more just a more soothing type, but it does make a nice bright loud sound. You put the spruce on a walnut, it clarifies the tone. Secondly, then there would be the redwood. Redwood's great on anything. It really makes a soothing tone, along with both the brightness and the mellowness of the walnut or the brightness of the cherry. The only thing I don't like about redwood is it's so soft and it's so wonderful, but you look at it and you've got a dent or you've got a scar or you've got anything like that. So if you're looking for a showpiece, don't get redwood. If you're looking for an excellent sounding instrument that will show the scars of day-to-day life with you, what a wonderful thing to have on it. I just want you all to know that it's very hard to get one, keep it very consistent with the quality is very hard to keep up there with a redwood. So that's why I say, oh, another redwood. But yeah, it makes a great instrument. All in all, my favorite is sycamore. We also get locally cut sycamore, and like I had brought up earlier, we can get some of the wildest patterns that have a little bit of spalting in with it. And I think we showed them that with. Hold on, just stay right there. This is just one that we had in the cart that I showed earlier with the 26-inch. You know, we get some really great patterns with that, and sometimes they're very subtle. This has an ebony fretboard on it, and with this one happens to have a cherry back. That here's another one. It also looks very good with a walnut back on it, and same kind of a setup with the 26-inch. We went ahead and put the black tuners on these because it kind of makes them a little classier looking instrument. That said, I like the sycamore because it really evens out the tone of any of the instruments that you want to do. It clarifies a little clearer on the walnut, and it tones down the cherry just a little bit. So that's my favorite wood whatsoever because it looks good. So being not too much here, I brought in Dwayne Porterfield to play you a couple of our new of our other instruments, and he's going to show you a couple instruments that we have that is a little bit new. We'll follow into the other room. Dwayne, are you around? What? He says he's been patiently waiting for 45 minutes or maybe longer. Come around here, Terry.
Okay.
An experiment that we did, which is pretty cool, is we said, why not have a 6-string ginger? And we didn't know what was going to happen with the 6-string ginger because we're just trying it out. And they came out really good. I would not recommend this as the first instrument that you would get, but if you want to expand your sound, this is really pretty cool. We've got what we've got here is it's in the key of G, which is great for a ginger, but it also has some octave down strings. And Dwayne's going to play you a little song and see how you like that. Well, that was just Dwayne's just showing off now. But anyway, that's a really good sound. And now it's kind of comparable to the sound of our 6-string baritone, only it's an octave higher. So maybe Dwayne would want to play something on our 6-string baritone. Were you ready for that? Yeah. Would you want to? This is our 6-string baritone. This also has that neat sound. Or play the same thing, or I don't care what you play. That'll do, Dwayne. that's why we have Dwayne come in and play and not me. But those are a couple instruments we wanted to kind of show the extra sound you can get from them.
Question.
Any questions on them? Did he play it right?
That was beautiful.
Okay, we don't clap here. I don't know. I think, are we getting, Mr. Brett, how are we doing for time? Are we getting towards the end of our hour? Do you want to say anything, or where do we go from here? What, I kind of jabber on and on and on. And go ahead.
Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, I do. This is Art.
Oh, go ahead, Art.
So actually, I have two questions that are completely unrelated. Number one, I'm wondering what you do for electronics. If you have a preference for what you put in, or are you doing electronic pickups and stuff for dulcimers? And the second one is more of a just general question. I've been a little worried about McSpadden and other makers, wondering how people are doing with business, with cultural changes, COVID, post-COVID, economic hardship with many people. I'm just wondering if any of that's affecting you. Hopefully not, but just wondering if what you're seeing in terms of changes over the years and what kind of people buy dulcimers, how many are buying, and so forth. So the electronic pickup, and then that just general, how's business and how's it changed question.
Yeah, that's good. We put in a lot of pickups anymore. We use a passive LR Bags brand pickup that is under the bridge. We have it specially made from LR Bags for us, that we replace the bridge and put it in, and then we wire it in so that it comes out with a 1/4-inch jack in the back. So there is no worry of leaving it plugged in or anything like that, that your preamp battery could be dead or something like that. Because I know when you have a preamp and things like that, you can drain that if you accidentally leave it plugged in, or about the time you're ready to perform. Oh shoot, I got to change my battery, my 9-volt battery, and things like that. So this is very maintenance free, and it has a great sound. I'm not gonna say it's what McSpadden has used for many years. There was another dulcimer in just a couple weeks ago that had a pickup in it, but it had an internal microphone, and when we played it, and it wasn't terrible, but I'm going to say for the situation, but I didn't think that it had quite the quality sound that these have when you come right off of the bridge and pick that up. So I was always curious how an internal microphone jack would sound, but I don't feel that it had the quality that we have in this. These are not inexpensive to put in. They're $140 now. We just got notified from LR Bags that they were taking a significant increase in price. So what can we say? So, I mean, not just a 2, 3, 4, more like a 25% or maybe up to 45% increase in price. So that's, I guess, the way of the world right now. And that leads into the next question of how are we doing? As far as I know and have seen in the last 2 years I've been here, we're producing as many or more. We seem to be selling. Business is picking up with sales of, I think people, when times are tough, they buy quality and they buy good instruments and something that they're going to have for a long time. If they want to invest in it, that's a one-time investment that they can get many, many years of enjoyment out of. So I think that a dulcimer people are finding as a good value of something that for recreation that they want to use. That being the case, I'm just going to say from the McSpadden end of it, others might be the thing. This is not something you want to get into if you want to get rich. The dulcimer making world is not a good rich theme. But then again, what is? And so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, we're not going local with our stocks with this. There is no stocks. I'm the stock. But no, business is good. We appreciate all the support out there. We appreciate the people who support us and make us what we are, because and our dealers who are very loyal, and dealers are very important to what we do. So support them as you can and may, or either way, come see us at our shop. We got a fun shop here. A lot of people say it's as fun to come into your shop as it is to shop for dulcimers, I guess. I don't think so. I think shopping for dulcimers is more fun than our shop. But anyway,
do you have a list of dealers on your website? I don't think there are any in Maryland, for example.
We should actually. The situation is in the last year and a half, we have found a lot of glitches in our website, our company that we have. I'm not going to badmouth them, but let's just say that we updated our security and lost half of our website. So we are in the process of my wife Terry is doing a lot of website, working with a guy who's redesigning a website. Dwayne and Cindy Porterfield have been a lot of help in the content that's going to go onto there. So we're hoping by September that we're going to have a new working website up that's going to help, and hopefully all the dealers and clubs and things like that will be updated, and we will be have a good supply of
the dealers are
of them. Oh yeah, but Terry says the dealers are on there. See, I don't look at the website. They keep me in the back stringing up and sanding and cutting dulcimers. So I guess you gotta stay with what you're good at. I'm never good at technology.
Art, if that was Art asking, I'm a dealer, just so you know.
So okay, we're gonna make sure that you're on there. Okay, as we update, and that we should have you on there.
I think I am on there. I just wanted to know.
Terry says yes.
I think you are.
Yes, I am. I think I am. And by the way, where I get most of my customers is from the lessons I do. People always write and say, what's that dulcimer you're playing? And by the way, whenever you get curly redwood in, if you ever get that in again, I'll do the first 4 that you make. I will buy.
Curly redwood. Okay, well, we'll do what we can. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Fruits Festival.
So, but we do, yeah, thank you. We have a list of things that somebody compiled, and a lot of them are outdated, but you notice here at the bottom, this in here says Brett Ridgeway. That when we give out dulcimers here, or just people come in and resources, we try to always put one of these in their bag if they're dulcimer players, so that they are able to patronize people out there who do the teaching, because if we don't play these things, they're kind of worthless.
Yeah. Any other questions for him?
I have a question. This is Annie in Atlanta. What do you recommend for upgrades for some of your older dulcimers? I have one from George Looney, and I think it was the late 80s. And the head, it has the gears, but it's not a flat head. What are your recommendations on that?
Okay, so it's a scroll head, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there are options. What we put on them now is a geared tuner.
Wife Cindy.
They
everybody.
Get out of the way. Hi, Cindy. We put a geared tuner on there now. We can retrofit those. They are not inexpensive. It's about it's $75 for the set of 4 tuners that you can put in. You need to ream out the hole a little bit. If you have us do it, we put them in for free, or you can buy the set for, I think it's $75. That's a good upgrade. This is actually a geared a planetary gear, which is a 4-to-1. That works really well. I still, on my old original, I still use from 1987. I still use the old 1-to-1 tuners. I have to tighten the end a little bit once in a while, or you can put a little new washer in there so that they tighten up and they hold. They work really well. Actually, just yesterday, somebody came in and they had bought a used old McSpadden, probably about in 1980. And somebody had put on the side of here, they had put those, a set of banjo gears on there that tuned. And they says, can you put these old tuners back on? So I put the old tuners back on for them, and they were just thrilled with it. Made it look original. And it was a good situation. But like I say, if you want to upgrade, yeah, these are a very good upgrade, and minimal work to put them in, if you want to.
Is there anything else you recommend as an upgrade?
That would on the tuners, that's about it. That's the only tuners that we happen to have that fit in with that.
It doesn't affect the sound or anything.
Oh, no. They are very good. They hold really well. They're a good. I would recommend them if you didn't want your old tuners in there any longer, that they would be a very good upgrade.
But you don't recommend replacing the head at all?
No, I would not replace that scroll head in the least. You basically can't. That is something, if you've got the scroll head, you could not put a flat head on there. You'd have to start completely over with the instrument. I said earlier that we can take apart and put everything back together, but that's not something that we can do.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your information.
Sorry. I wish we could do the other for you, but you have a very.
Oh no, and don't be sorry. There's something about changing this beautiful thing, and that's just heresy to me. And I don't know what should be upgraded and what should be left alone. Yes.
I would say if you did anything, put the new planetary gears on there. That is a very good, and it keeps your dulcimer very usable if you don't like the old 1-to-1 tuners.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions?
Richard here. I was wondering if you used hickory for any of your instruments.
No, we don't happen to. Nobody's come through and actually asked me to sell me any hickory. I think hickory is maybe, it might be a little hard. I don't know if it makes a good tone wood. I don't know if there's other makers out there, to be honest with you, that use hickory. Whether it's a tone wood or not, that's a good question. We don't use oak because that doesn't seem to be a tone wood, and hickory might be a little hard. But I'm not saying that. Never say never. If we had a batch of hickory, maybe we'd make a few hickory instruments and see what happened with them.
Thank you.
What the wood choices that we use are, we like the fact that other than the redwood and the spruce, we really like the fact that we try to use a locally cut wood, something that is local to this region, or within 50 miles, maybe 100 miles, and that keeps the kind of a little bit of the ambiance of a handmade instrument from the Ozarks, with that in mind.
County EMS, I need you to respond to the Salem Care Center. That's Salem Care Center for a 42-year-old male experiencing a panic attack. Again, that's the Salem Care Center. Timeout is 16:11.
Was that you all, or?
What was that?
I don't think that had anything. That might have been some other.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
It showed Rhonda, but I think it may have been picking something else up.
Yeah, on a scanner or something.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a question. This is Melanie from Tennessee. You're all hearing me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was told originally at one time, I don't even know where I heard it, that with the McSpadden, that if you are going to play in DAD, then that's fine. If you wanted to also play in DAA, that you needed some kind of an adaptation or something. Is that true? I have an McSpadden and I play in both and I have no issue, but you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. There is on the former website, there was a thing that talked about a compensation. Now, every dulcimer that is made here, we compensate it for intonation when it's done, because each instrument has its nuances. Is that a good word? It has its individual characteristics, but for your A string to play fine in the center, I don't know why your A string doesn't play fine a half inch over from it, and whether it goes up to D. Now granted, let's say that if you're going to play in DAA, we would recommend that you have the heavier strings on the A string than the 10s. In DAD, we put on a number 10 string for that double melody string, whatever you want to call it. Whereas in a DAA, the double string, or single, if you use single, we would recommend it to be in a number 12, because a little heavier plays a little better in the lower key. The compensation is something that has been talked about. I haven't found it in between instruments that it shows any indication that you can't play it in both. So I would pretty much, unless you had a really odd instrument, disregard the worry of needing a compensated bridge for changing from DAD to DAA.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I love playing in DAA myself. So if the instrument would not play in DAA, we'd figure out some other way to not go back and forth from DAD to DAA. So yeah, that's something that we would take into account, but haven't really seen any kind of a cause for alarm there or necessary. Yeah, good question though.
Thank you.
So one last thing, is there any way you check an instrument to make sure it's as perfect as you possibly can make it before you make it for sale? Do you string it up and play it, or do anything special to just say this is really going to be a great instrument for somebody?
Oh yeah. Actually, that's it. Pretty much goes past me at the very end. That's kind of where I found myself fitting into the process of these instruments. I string it up and then I play it, and I check for intonation, whether it plays the same note at the octave, and that every note is there. We're only human, and sometimes we've found a time, just a couple, but I'm gonna admit it, that after it seems to have gone through the not FedEx, what do we use, the UPS or whatever, there may have been super cold or super hot or something, and you would get a fret that comes a little bit haywire with it, but that's pretty rare. No, I play every instrument that goes out and check that there's no frets that buzz on it or anything like that. So I am to blame if there is something that is not up to par for playing it. That we definitely play it before we send it out.
I have a question. The different woods you said you had, you didn't mention anything about any exotic woods. Does McSpadden not do exotic woods anymore?
Yes, we do koa. Koa is getting increasingly harder to find. Well, it isn't hard to find. It's just very expensive. You know, you go on the internet and you look for some boards you could use, and it's not untypical to find a $14,000 board, 10, 14,000, 16,000, and then you get some of the boards that are affordable in the $500 to $700 range, and they have more knots and holes in them that you wouldn't be sure what there is. Koa has been taken over by the big boys. I'm going to just say, big guitar makers. You can get a lot of great backs and tops, but that's all you can get. You can't get we need the boards that are 2 inches thick that we can cut every piece from. We don't want kit parts or anything like that in our dulcimers. So we have a little bit of koa left. We do give for the national championship when we at Winfield, Kansas. We do still this year. We will still make a koa dulcimer. We've got a bunch of koa parts back there, but they are not book matched. So you would find the back and the top would not be book matched. That doesn't give you the superior look to the dulcimer. We could do that. We will use exotic woods, but we get such a good set. I'm going to be right down to you that a koa does not sound any better than a good walnut or a good walnut with a redwood top on it. If you were going for sound, it's great, and they're really pretty and they're gorgeous. They're a prestige instrument, but I've never found a better sounding wood in an exotic wood. So we're willing to do that if we can find the wood, if the people are willing to pay the price for the wood. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes,
Hopefully.
thank you.
Anything else before we go?
I just did a really quick question. I had a girlfriend of mine who was interested in experimenting with the chromatic fretboard a while back, and so I lent her my flat water, and she wanted to know if you're still making those. I haven't heard anything about them in a while.
I knew this would.
Oh yeah. Terry's back here going, I knew this would come up. The flat water is a very good instrument. We've had a changeover in. Let's just say we stopped for the time being making the flat waters for an internal change within our organization. That being the case, yeah, our goal was to make them out of inferior pieces and waste pieces of lumber. We got a couple, Richard Stoltz came back in here and he brought in Randy, can't say his last name now. He brought in Randy, who'd worked down here forever. They don't get the waste product that we were getting. So it's kind of like, until we can figure out a new way to make the flat water, they just had to be kind of put on hold for the time being. That's about the easiest explanation in the whole situation. Great instrument. We do make chromatics in our McSpaddens. We're happy to do that at a little extra charge. They're not for everybody, but the people who like to experiment in the chromatic, they're a great instrument for that.
I'll just consider mine a collector's edition for now.
For now, you've got a great collector's edition. Congratulations.
Limited edition.
Yeah, limited edition until we can get some more production when things change around. Well, you know what? We've had a pretty good increase in demand for the McSpadden itself, and that's what we do here. Is make the McSpadden when things were a little slower. We made a different dulcimer that was not supposed to be related to the McSpadden at all. So that was good for the time being. But now we've been so busy just making McSpaddens, there hasn't really been a good time to make any more flat waters. That also with the situation.
Anything else? By the way, when you guys lost connection, we were talking about you all in good ways. Everybody's enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. I thought it was very, very interesting. I do want to say this, for as long as I've dealt with McSpadden, if I had to sum it up in a couple of words, it would be quality, character, and integrity, because that is really what, like I said, any issue I've ever had, which has been very few, always taken care of, very good. And I will say this, I'm sure you don't know this. This is when Jim had the store, but I work at a music store and somebody did not want the hearts. It was a guy, he wanted like buck antlers or something on his. And I called Jim up and I said, and this is true, we were selling, I'm just going to say, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to tell you who it was, but I felt they were inferior instruments compared to McSpadden, and we were selling more of those than the McSpaddens because they offered different sound holes. And I called up Jim and I told him that, and I highly respect what he said. He said, if somebody's going to buy an instrument because of the sound holes, we don't really care. He was very blunt about it. And he says, we know what our instruments sound like. We know how they're made. We know the quality. And that's what we're standing on. And I thought that was like my whole respect level right there just went up another 10 points. Cause I thought, something that's sticking with your product and knowing what you have without compromising to, and then, we actually stopped carrying the other brand because I didn't want to sell them, which is terrible, but I didn't believe in them. You know what I'm saying? And I just think the McSpadden's really good.
Well, thank you. And that is a great, Jim had some real good points there that make, and that's when I took over the business. That was one of the things that I said is I'm not looking to change anything. Any changes that will be made will be within the structure that is here already. I mean, we made a little change on our gingers 2021. We put pins in instead of the pegs so that they took the loop end strings. I don't believe that was a big change. That was a subtle change. By putting the F-holes, allowing the F-holes to be put in a standard instrument, it still looks like a McSpadden. That's what we want to be. We want some people to spot McSpadden from across the room and know what they're getting. Great. if we're buying it for all the aesthetics, that's nice, because we want to make a good looking instrument also, but we still want to look like McSpadden.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for doing this very much so, and Terry for being the photographer and prompter back there. We've enjoyed it, and I do want to thank you for your time. I think everybody really had a good time with this, and I thought it was extremely interesting. I love seeing some of that stuff, and I'll probably be calling you on a few things too that I'm curious about. So, anybody else before we go? Last chance.
In the meantime,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you for doing this and taking your time. I really enjoyed it, and I have a McSpaddens and I really love it. And it was really fun to see your shop and what you do.
Well, thank you. I want to say before we go, I want to give thanks to Dwayne and Cindy Porterfield. I was going to use them to play a little bit more, but we got to talking so much that I didn't get to showcase. They are great ambassadors for the company, and they don't get paid for it. I just want you all to know that they are very loyal and very good friends, and it's not every company can have that kind of representation with that kind of support and good people to boot. So I want to give a shout out to them and everything that they've done in the last couple of years to help keep this running in the changeover. Thanks, Ted. Do you hear Dwayne from the other room?
Yeah.
Cindy said, yeah. So.
All right. Anybody else? Okay, I got to ask my people one thing very quickly. We always have a giveaway. I'm not gonna do it right now because everything I'm so far behind on with this COVID and everything. But did the person who won last time get their CD? Does anybody remember? I'll have to put it out there. Joan, did you get it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. All right, by the way, I'm echoing, hold on. Our mid-month jam is next Friday at 8 o'clock. All right, and that for all the followers, we have a mid-month jam. Nobody can hear you. You only hear me or Phyllis, and we use Strum Machine in the back. So we do that every month. And then we will have other guest speakers. We'll probably try to get somebody from Hammer Dulcimers next time. And ironically, it's probably going to be Russell Cook or what's the other one you sell, Terry? McSpadden Terry.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
David's Dulcimer.
David's Dulcimers, yes.
David's Dulcimer.
We didn't know which Terry you were talking to.
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, I'll try to get one of those guys so that everybody can do it. But again, this is what I'm trying to encourage everybody. Whether you play a mountain dulcimer, if I did not play a mountain dulcimer, I would have found this absolutely fascinating. All right. I just think it's so cool. So if you don't play hammer dulcimer, I think you'd find it interesting just hearing the knowledge these guys have and the woods and just the things that they shared with us. I thought was excellent. So we'll be doing this every month, and we'll have the mid-month jam. That's next Friday, and we'll probably do a drawing then for what we normally do. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Terry and Tim, for joining us. Thank you, everybody who showed up, and we'll see you in about a week or so. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you all.